generation, from every tribe.
Welcome back to Running with God, and today we're continuing on the series of the Nephilim, Part 3. We're laying foundations so you can have full understanding of the Word. We're looking in chapter 5, verses 1 through 3 right now. It says, "This is the book of the generations of Adam, in the day that God created man. In the likeness of God made he him, male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam, in the day when they were created." Now, I want you to look at that. A lot of people mistranslate it. It says that God made them and named them Adam. So I want you to look at that. A lot of people warp the word, they mistranslate it, they misrepresent it because they do not have their eyes completely opened by the Holy Spirit. They say that Adam was male and female, and that Adam was made and she was within him already, with the exception of the fact that we know she was made out of his rib. That's not so. The Lord made her out of the dirt, just like he did Adam, and breathed life to her later on by the Spirit, by the dunamis and the power he had. He breathed life upon her and through her. But this word Adam here means mankind. It means humankind. So let's get that straight from the beginning when it says he made them and their names was Adam. Their name is humanity. Their name is humankind. Okay? I hope that cleared that up for some of you. Now, it tells us that God made them, Adam and Eve, both in his image. And whenever he did that, they were not only made in his likeness, like what we think of, that we see and touch and feel right now, but they were also covered with the glory of the Lord. They were also filled with his righteousness because there was no sin within them. They were pure in every way. Most people think whenever it talks about when God asked them if they were naked, that it totally means this earthen body. It does not mean that. It means they were spiritually uncovered. The glory had departed from man. The righteousness of God had departed from man. Now the sin nature had taken them on because of their disobedience. This is the beginning of the seed of man. Now, when God did make Eve out of Adam's rib and out of the dirt and breathed life into her, Adam then said in verse 23 of chapter 2, it says this: Adam said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man." Now, going along in chapter 3, we look in verse 20, and it says, "And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living." Now, let's look at that. Number one, we know that she was called woman because she came from man. Number two, we know that she was made in the likeness of the Father. But now we see him naming her Eve. And the name Eve is Chava, or Chaim, as in like L'chaim, life, because she is the mother of all living. But when you get into the root of that, it means she's the breather, the breath, the breathing of life. You say, how is that so? Because through her, from the man's seed within her, she brings forth life. That life that God has sparked within her and brought forth, and wants that being, that human that comes forth out of the womb is out. It's breathing, it's inhaling. The Spirit of the Lord has breathed life into it, into that child, into that precious little one. We also know within that meaning that she is a helpmate. It means she's a helper. but it's not a helper in the way that we always think, whereas a woman helps a man and a man helps a woman. No, she is a partaker of what is to come in the restoration of the bloodline so that we may become whole again through Christ.